What's up, y'all? I'm here to talk about the relatively straightforward Vanilluxe buffs and changes in this hack. They're pretty cool. Snow Warning is very self-explanatory. I don't think I need to talk about what that does. You got the No Miss Blizzard, 120 base power, which is not even that great because it's 85 base accuracy normally now, so it's not terrible, but it's still really nice to have that No Miss. And then most importantly, of course, you have that Aurora Veil, which is great. 94 base speed is a lot better to get off that Veil. You have a lot better bulk now, 76, 90, 110. This Pdef especially is super nice, and Pdef means you can definitely tank like a non-stab first impression easily, or any strong priority pretty easily. Keep in mind, by the way, Ice type is buffed in this hack. Ice type has 4 resistances now: Ground, Flying, Ice itself, and then Dragon, which might sound unnecessary because Dragon is not that great of an offensive typing, but Dragon type moves in this hack are much stronger, and Dragons are also a lot more common, so it's nice for Ice types to be able to actually check Dragons a lot easier since they resist them. And then of course Ground, Flying are really good offensive types that you now resist, and then of course Ice is a really good offensive type that you resist. So 4 resistance is very good. Pure Ice is a solid type now, so that's really important. Logic for Water Absorb, before I talk more about why Veil and all this other stuff is great and why Vanilluxe is great. Water Absorb logic, because it might seem weird to some people. If you go to the Pokedex, it says literally the first Dex entry is swallowing large amounts of water. They make snow clouds inside their bodies, blah, 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 blah. So that's the main reason. It's kind of weird, but there was no other ability that was as good. It would have been Levitate, or it would have kept Weak Armor. Weak Armor is not bad. It's not a bad ability. In game, it's very easy to cheese with Weak Armor plus Weakness Policy plus the Endure TM. You can totally get some sweeps going with that. You can still do that on Vanilla-ish, at least, for up until level 36. But I figured, let's give it something more useful. Water Absorb is also pretty cool flavor-wise, and it's really unique because a pure Ice type, not only does Ice resist those 4 types, now you also have a Water immunity as an Ice type now. You resist Ground, Flying, Dragon, and Ice, and then you're immune to Water, and you have Freeze Dry, which is 85 base power now, so that's great. Really nice Water type counter. You also have Energy Ball via TM. In general, your coverage is still very limited because at the end of the day, they still are fucking ice cream. Like, what moves can they really get? Hydro Pump makes a lot of sense. Coming out of the little pipe is how I envision it, the little straw. Hydro Pump's great. Water Pulse is actually really good for utility. Obviously, that is half the base power of Hydro Pump, but you always, not only is it 100% accurate as opposed to 90, and also Water Pulse is available from the beginning of the game, which is of course an important part of the hack because the hack is an entire game journey. Water Pulse also drops the opponent's attack and special attack by -1. And then of course you have Aurora Beam, which does the same thing, and it's stab at 70 base power, so both of those moves are great. You also have Parting Shot, which is huge, especially for Aurora Veil, but in general it's nice to have that. So you Parting Shot plus Veil is perfect, really. You get that Veil up, then you Parting Shot out. Keep in mind, Veil is incredible. Do not get it twisted. Veil is huge in game. It's really nice to deal with all of the offensive nonsense in the hack. However, you do have to keep in mind that crits will bypass your Aurora Veil. So all of the high crit or guaranteed crit moves that exist in this game are still going to crit right through your Veil, especially first impression. So you got to keep that in mind. Regardless, though, it's still great and it can enable a lot of crazy stuff, especially with Parting Shot. Then at that point, the opponent in front of you is doing no damage. So unless they have a switch move, you can set up a little bit easier. But keep in mind, setup in general is nerfed less PP. There's a lot of phasing moves that are a lot stronger in this hack. So yeah, speaking of Haze, you got Haze, Priority Haze is huge, but yeah, otherwise coverage is pretty good. Not anything crazy, but you got all you need. So Freeze Dry is already really good, right? And Ice in general is a very good offensive typing, so you don't need that much coverage. You got Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Mirror Shot, which is essentially better Flash Cannon from Vanilla. It's 80 base power, 100% accurate, and it gives you 1 in 4 chance to get special attack. While Flash Cannon is 110 base power, 90% accurate, and has a 50% chance to dodge Pdef. So those are 2 great moves. And Steel coverage is actually pretty important on Vanilluxe because it hits Ice type, which of course resists you, resists Ice itself. So that's really nice. Steel is good coverage. Freeze Dry. Yeah, Energy Ball is actually not that good. It's still good, but especially if you deleted Freeze Dry, because there is no movie learner until the end of the game, so all your level up moves, you are going to have to keep those. For example, you have Frost Flurry, which is his special Ice Shard and stuff like that, but you're going to want, Recover, you're going to want, Aurora Beam, you're going to want, so you do have a little bit of 4 move slot syndrome, but either way, it's still great. Again, great check to strong water types because of that Water Absorb option. You do have access to infinite usability capsules, so you can tack on Water Absorb whenever it's useful, and then when it's not useful, which it won't be a lot of the time, you can just run Snow Warning and just go, you can't go wrong with Veil plus Snow Warning. You cannot go wrong with that. It's great. Great utility Pokemon. Very strong. 120 base special attack is very good. Good bulk. Actual resistances, just great buffs for Vanilluxe all around. Acid Armor is pretty cool under Veil, or just in general. Acid Armor gives you +3 defense now, so that's pretty cool. Other little gimmicky coverage things you can do. Also, another thing I need to mention is that there are a lot more Slush Rush Pokemon in this game, as well as the fact that overriding other weather is still inherently useful, even if you're not abusing the Hail, or even if you're not abusing the Veil. But honestly, if you have the Hail up, you may as well just fucking click Aurora Veil and Parting Shot out. There's no reason not to, unless like you really don't need it for whatever reason. For that boss fight. The good thing about this ROM hack is you can customize your sets very easily for every little boss fight that's coming up. So you can run a full bulk set with max HP for one set, and then next boss fight you can slap on max speed. It really just depends on what you need. That rhymed. But yeah, Spadef is good. You can run an Assault Vest set, which is pretty cool for certain boss fights. Switch in, check a certain Pokemon. That water immunity is huge though, so that's really nice to have as well. Otherwise, you got some other you got powerful stab moves other than Blizzard. You've got Freezer Burn, which is great utility. That is 180 base power, 2-turn move, and that always burns as well, so that's really strong. Good utility you could use ever like Totem Mimikyu, for example, or something like that. Uproar is good fighting type coverage that you get early on at 47, which is in time for Nanu. Of course, that hits things that resist ice like Steel and whatnot, which you can't really hit that well otherwise. Not that you need to hit everything. Not every Pokemon needs to have coverage to hit everything. This isn't even really a sweeper necessarily, so it really doesn't matter. You can just Parting Shot on something you can't touch. It's great for utility. Pity coverage is like Nature Power, Natural Gift. Weather Ball is also really cool on your allies, by the way, because every special attacker in this game gets Weather Ball for the most part. So if you Parting Shot with the Veil up, you now have a free Ice type move on any Pokemon that normally doesn't get it. So that's really cool as well. Hail does not give a defense boost in this game. Sadly, I cannot program that in. If they did, Ice would be fucking insane because of the new resist as well. Like, it would be pretty fucking crazy. But there's something else I wanted to say. Focus Blast as well is good fighting type coverage. So that's cool. It's 85% accurate, 130 base power. All these moves are buffed or changed. By the way, I didn't say in this video yet, holy shit, I forgot to mention. If you are new here, by the way, check out the description below. There is a Google Sheet, the same Google Sheet that I use in these videos, and you can check out literally every move buff and change. There's 600 plus of them, and there's 130 plus custom brand new moves, so you should definitely give those a look because those are really important. But honestly, if you listen this far into the video, you probably already know this. I should be saying that at the beginning. So yeah, that being said, very simple, very, very good buffs and changes for Vanilluxe. Great Pokemon. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back for more, everybody. Peace.